Safety will probably be impressed in the middle.
I'm going to tell you guys, the quarterback now.
Jam the middle receivers.
Sean knows this from living in Boston. But the quarterback, Matt Ryan at Boston College, he is for real right now. If I had to take one quarterback in this country right now, it may be Matt Ryan.
Timeout Oklahoma with 3rd and long upcoming. Boston College, one of those teams that has been labeled a surprise 3-0 team. I think certainly Air Force is, particularly with those wins. It isn't like they've played cupcakes. Utah and TCU, excellent. I'm not sure if Boston College belongs on that list. Matt Ryan, the preseason ACC Player of the Year. It's a veteran team all around him. It's played together for a while. And I know Tom O'Brien said last year, we're good this year, but I'll have my best team next year. Of course, he left before he coached it, but that's a very good BC team.
I mean, you guys saw Cincinnati.
No,
that's the surprise.
Yeah, Cincinnati, Brian Kelly. Toughness.
Exactly.
When you bring toughness, and they'll hit you down there. They'll whack you every second that they get. Then you put an offense with that toughness, they're going to be a team to surprise in the Big East.
I mean, Cincinnati took it to Oregon State. That was a Thursday night game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, not a Friday night.
We watched it.
Yeah. I'll tell you the thing, you guys, I don't know if you realize this or not. You realize how many people watch this Friday night game? I have not missed a snap. I was in the Troy, Oklahoma games, Oklahoma State, all the way till the last snap of that game. As Sean was kind of whining about how late it was, I was with you every step.
Chris made me. Trouble with the connection there, and they fell on it. Manuel Johnson got on the ball. And now Tulsa cannot call a timeout because they don't have any, which really hurts them here.
See Joe John Finley coming across, and poor timing and miscommunication by the center. And Bradford's got to let him clear if he's triggering when that ball should be snapped. Again, another young mistake. Or either that, or Joe John's got to get a rocket on his back and get across in his motion and quit screwing around. Up and up and up. He's saying, let him pass before you call for the ball. But he'll get better. I mean, that kid, he's got a bright future. Just watching him tonight. And Coach, you and I were talking that release.
Exactly. And in the spring, I mentioned I did their spring game. Nobody knew who the quarterback was going to be.
Yep. Three-way competition. Bradford won it from Joey Halsley and Keith Nickel. They like both of those quarterbacks. Bradford, the son of a former Sooner offensive lineman. His dad, Kent, played there in the late 70s on a national championship team. Sam is a certified Cherokee Indian. His great-great-grandmother, Susie Walking Stick.
I'm going to tell you, this guy digs down for some details. You get that every week, don't you?
Yes, I get educated every week. I mean, it's a continuing education.
And he enjoys some of it. There are more Native Americans, by the way, in Oklahoma, more than 250,000 than any other state in the country.
But you got them wearing those little spandex outfits to work out in, like my buddy Mark Jones wears when he works out.
No, only Jones who can pull off the outfits we've seen him in the weight room.
I know Chris has you doing squats, power cleans, just like you're playing, like you're getting ready for an NFL season, right?
I was squatting this morning, wondering why a 45-year-old broadcaster needed to be doing squats in the weight room. They do have a punter, Michael Cohen, and Trey Johnson, the fair catch, with 17 seconds left in the half and a 42-yard punt. Well, Bob, it's very nice of you to make the almost 2-hour drive over from Fayetteville. We'll look forward to that game tomorrow, Kentucky and Arkansas, 6 o'clock Eastern time.
Appreciate you guys having me. You do a great job.
Thanks, Coach.
Chris.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Get two backs in the backfield line up around the ball a little bit for me, would you?
If and when you return to coaching, and I don't know if you are interested in doing that, I have a feeling the spread, no huddle, will not be part of your approach.
I'll have some of it, but man, it's hard to play defense when your offense is a spread and you have no one to practice against.
Smith on target.
I got a feeling that
Jesse Meyer.
The 3-3-5 won't be part of the defense either.
Well, you're going to be my defensive coordinator, so I'm going to let you run what you want, but you're not going to run the 3-3.
No, we're going to see ball, get ball, line up and come after him. That's what we're going to do.
Meyer, 3 catches in the first 2 games. He's had 7 for 114 yards here in the first half. 12 seconds to go now. We're down by 21. No timeouts. 1st and 10 at the Oklahoma 48. Paul Smith thrown for 250 and a half.
They get out of bounds.
Yep, they didn't. The clock will stop for a moment to move the chains as Jamad Williams, the redshirt freshman from Midwest City, Oklahoma, has a 14-yard gain.
Clock it.
They do clock it, but the clock ran out. Ball Smith saying there should be more time, 1 or 2 seconds.
They get the home clock.
Yeah, the Sooners are running to the locker room, trying to make it more difficult for the officials, psychologically perhaps, to put time back on the clock.
Yeah, the back judge keeps the time on the field.
Well, now he's blowing the whistle. I think he's going to bring the Sooners back.
2 seconds back on the game clock.
Give time for one more play. And again, the back judge keeps the clock on the field. He did a full 35-yard sprint to say there's 1 second left. And from the naked eye here, I had an eye on the clock and the booth. It looked like the ball did hit the ground when there was 1 second left. Now they gave him 2.
So Jared Tracy, the field goal kicker, has a career long of 50. Confusion now on the sideline as a player runs on late, Trey Johnson. And they'll try to heave it in the end zone. They had 3 receivers to the right, but Smith is chased to the left and sacked by Austin English. 4 sacks in the half for the Sooners defense. There is a flag on the play. Front of the line of scrimmage. Illegal procedure. It is declined. So Oklahoma fell behind 7-0. A couple of big early plays for Tulsa, but they could not sustain it. Here's Joe Shad.
Coach, what pleases you most about the first half? Well, offensively, we've been pretty solid. The first drive, we played pretty foolishly and had some poor penalties. Some penalties have hurt us. And defensively, we just, we're letting some guys run past us. We got to do a better job staying on top of guys.
How are you handling their offense?
Well, some of the time pretty good when we stay on top of people. Right? The 2 big passes are a big deal to me.
Oh, was there a mic issue there? Shit, I apologize.
Well, we're at halftime. It's Oklahoma 35 and Tulsa 14. Here's Dari Noka with the Olive Garden halftime report.
Oh, you number 1! Number 1!
One of the toughest tracks in NASCAR. Coverage begins Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on ABC.
News out of Tallahassee, Florida. Florida State linebacker Geno Hayes and fullback Joe Surratt were arrested early Friday morning after a skirmish with police officers outside of a Tallahassee nightclub. Hayes has been charged with 3 misdemeanors, while Surratt has been charged with a felony of officer assault. FSU Athletic Director Dave Hart says both are suspended until more facts are known. More news. How about Kevin Everett? Look at the bottom of this panel here. Transferred from Buffalo to a Houston hospital, be closer to home. The good news here, doctors will try to stand him on his own in the coming couple of weeks. Great news there for Kevin Everett. Coming up, the second half from Tulsa. Alan Patrick, 134 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. His Sooners have a 3-touchdown lead on the Golden Hurricanes. Second half, straight ahead.
Ooh, the never-ending pasta bowl is going on.
Oh, you didn't know?
No,
I figured that's why you were in such a hurry to get here.
No, I had no idea what was going on.
Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl is back with delicious new sauces like sausage and peppers marinara and smoked mozzarella alfredo. Pick any combination of sauce and pasta, then another. Try them all for just $8.95, plus endless breadsticks and salad.
I'll have the penne with meat sauce followed by the 5-cheese marinara.
No idea, huh?
Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
Are these numbers right? Yes. Do you know what this means? It means we have doubled in the last 6 months. It means we're going to have to hire more people to move into a bigger space to get those key card things. We'll need to order a lot more wood. Well, what if this continues?
Dave, isn't that kind of the idea?
Citibank Business Banking. Whatever your growing business needs, Citibank's there with guidance and customized solutions to help your business thrive. Come to Citi and let's get it done.
This is Conference USA.
home to talented student athletes from 12 great universities. Every year, the competition within these walls gets tougher. The rivalries get more intense. It pushes these young men and women to become smarter athletes and stronger students. Pride and respect run deep in our house. Welcome to Conference USA. Competition lives here.
And welcome back to ESPN2's College Football Prime Time. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in high definition and presented by Pioneer Curo HD TV. Sooners taking the field for the start of the second half. They put on an offensive clinic in the first half, scoring 35 points. They had 349 yards of total offense, balanced. The big play potential displayed as well. Alan Patrick led the way. Sam Bradford did what he had to do, throwing for 2 scores, although he threw the ball just 16 times. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman. We keep wondering how good this Oklahoma team is. We thought this would be a pretty stern test tonight against a good Tulsa team. Oklahoma looks terrific again tonight.
Well, they do, and it's their balance, and they do it out of different formations. They'll do it out of 21 personnel with 2 backs, 1 tight end. They run 3 tight ends, 3 wides. They can hurt you in a number of ways. And they proved to me, at least in this first half, Sean, when you talk about LSU, Florida, USC, and Oklahoma, those are interchangeable to me as far as #1 teams, and they're as good as anybody. Athletically, they're tremendous, especially their big people up front on both sides of the ball.
We talk about the balance. They rushed for 187, led by Alan Patrick's 130 yards. And Bradford threw for 162. Tulsa managed 266 yards of offense, but they're down 35-14. Oklahoma will kick off with Jared Hartley. Charles Davis from the goal line did not reach the 20, came up just shy. But we want to apologize at the end of the half as Coach Stoops was going to the locker room. There was a word that should not made it onto the airways, but did. Caught in a microphone that was open inadvertently. And we apologize that you had to hear some language that certainly is not appropriate for our air and not up to ESPN's high standards. We regret it.
See where Paul Smith, again, he's had some success. Not there, but in the first half he had success throwing the ball instead of running the ball.
Yeah, the numbers reflect it. They only ran for 2 yards, so of that 266 that I mentioned, 264 of it through the air. As Paul Smith was 16 out of 22 passing. He did throw 2 touchdown passes, but he also had a pick. And a sack 4 times. Gerald McCoy took him down on the first play of this half. Smith, and dodging bullets all night long, now throws it up for grabs, and it is incomplete. Intended for Charles Clay. John Williams, a defensive end, was downfield in coverage.
15 yards, first down.
Well, again, you talk about, certainly he's going to help Tulsa there, but you talk about the athleticism of the big people. Well, right there, there's a perfect example of it when you have John Williams running down there with a speedy running back in Clay. Now, Paul Williams, ill-advised throw. Granger gives him a little shot there. You got to be able to pull up and be disciplined. The big John Williams hanging with a running back down the field off of a zone blitz.
That's 6'5", 256. Downfield in coverage. After the penalty of 1st and 10. Marion Adams gets 11 more and another first down out to the 44-yard line. Adams says he likes this new offense. He says Gus Malzahn's play calling is aggressive and he likes it. And he said because of the spread, you spread the defenders out, you get those defenders out of the box. He feels as a running back, it's easier for him to run.
Well, it can be. And that's if you get a hat on the big people. And right there, Tulsa's young offensive line did a good job of shielding off the massiveness of the Oklahoma defenders.
First rushing first down of the game for Tulsa. Jamad Williams per yard. Tackled by Ryan Reynolds.
But ideally, Gus Malzone was talking about getting the play and the ball snapped 5 seconds when the whistle for play by the white hat goes. Tulsa wanted to slow it down a little bit tonight just to give their defense a break.
2nd and 9, a little screen. Look out, Trey Johnson can run. And he runs all the way inside the 20-yard line. Followed by Nick Harris. 36 yards on the game for Tulsa.
Good. Paul Smith does a nice job of looking at one way, hitting the screen, and set up well, and you're getting people downfield when you have your offensive lineman down there getting blocks for you in speed by Terrian. Good rack. Screen pass, getting it going.
Five receivers now. Smith pump fake and couldn't find anybody. Now he's going to run. A little fluty-esque there. Ooh, he took a shot in the back from Ryan Reynolds. At the 11-yard line. Reynolds, a key part of this defense. He's battled a lot of knee injuries. As Brent Venable says, he's mature as any linebacker I have ever coached.
And made the interception in the first half. And right there, if I'm Paul Smith, what I want to do is go feet first on my slide. You got to protect yourself as far as your heads. And Reynolds did nothing but go down and meet him at contact. And Paul Smith, when he does take the dive, which he should, he's too valuable to this football team to take hits like that. Go ahead and take a feet first dive. Protect yourself.
John Williams a little slow to get up for Oklahoma. Paul Smith now at an even 300 yards passing. Coming off his career high 454 last week against BYU.
Yeah, he's a warrior, Sean. He's a good player. I mean, he makes this offense go, and Gus Malzone was talking about that he didn't have to worry about the quarterback. He was just worried about coaching the wide receivers and running back.
2nd and 2. Ken Adams. A little extra effort might have gotten him the first down inside the 10-yard line. Adams, a psychology major, says he'd like to be a high school counselor.
Yeah, we offered him to get some experience on us.
Yes.
The counseling experience.
On this crew. He's a junior from Moore, Oklahoma. Like many of these Tulsa players, said he came to Tulsa because it was the only major college scholarship offer that he had.
I've been impressed with him, not only his running ability, catching, but he's done a good job of blocking and pass protection and getting out on screens and becoming the lead blocker. The tough football player.
And again, they'll use a timeout early. It hurt them late in the first half when they had burned all their timeouts in the first quarter. With a big 3rd down and less than a yard upcoming for the Golden Hurricane.
Yeah. Number 1.
And Paul Smith is a very interesting young man. He is a communications major, says someday he'd like to work for ESPN on the air if possible, but he also got a little taste of what it was like in our production truck yesterday off the air.
About to come back from commercial, guys. Let's focus. Let's focus. Warren, I like that shot you got. Still on the 50-yard line. That looks good. Let's get Dwayne to get a new close-up of that offensive lineman who was holding. I didn't get that call. Audio, bring it up a little bit in the back. Bring it up. I can't even hear you. What's going on? Is anybody working? Unbelievable. You doing anything? No. Okay. Absolutely great. Seems like it's always going that way. All right. Well, my time here is done, guys. Thank you.
Well, sounds like just about every other producer we ever worked with at ESPN.
It fit right in.
Yeah, he looked very comfortable. Obviously, the natural leadership skills. First down on the keeper. They list him at 6'2", 200 pounds. He might be a little smaller than that. But he also works for the campus TV station, TU-TV. And that's really where his larger interests are as an on-air person.
After football, he wants to work for ESPN.
Well, he wants to be on this side of it if at all possible. Faked it. Yeah. Guys in the truck are saying that's a smart move on his.
First down.
Well, let's see his work on the air on TUTV.
$9.99. And that's 1,000. Hello again, and welcome to week 3 of Pulse Picks. This week we're here inside the weight room at TU, where I obviously spend a lot of time.
That's who is as obvious as Pulse Picks. Here's Terrion Adams bouncing off Ryan Reynolds and spinning down to the 4-yard line. He's a very likable young man of considerable religious faith. Said was handed down from his parents. He is the president of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes chapter on this campus. Every week leads a praise and worship session for between 50 and 100 athletes on the campus. Plays the guitar.
He's a leader. He's a natural leader. And
Yes,
you
he
can
is.
tell that when he walks in the room, his players follow him, and that carries over off the field.
High snap. He handled it. Didn't get much, perhaps a yard. I'll tell you what, he's tough too. He's taking some shots and hanging in there. He's married Krista Barker about 6 months ago. She was a 4-year starter on the soccer team. Said he showed up for the beginning of his freshman year. They had a luncheon for the incoming athletes. He knew a girl from his high school who was on the soccer team. Soccer team was in uniform because they had to go out on the field. He said, "Who's number 4?" He got the introduction to Krista, and now they're married. Short pass, nowhere near the end zone. Jake Collins, the tight end, stopped again by Ryan Reynolds.
Jake Collins had the open there shot. He just misread the blockers. He had 2 blockers out in front of him. If he would have headed for the sideline toward the pylon, he might have snuck it in there. He just cut back a little bit too quick. He should have been a little bit patient to set up that blocking scheme. 4th down, I like the fact they're going for it. They know they need points, and 3 points against this offense of Oklahoma not going to get it done.
And a good drive to open the half. Will they score? 4th and goal from the 3. Smith under duress. Lunges for the end zone. Touchdown. Well, a great move to shed Nick Harris near the line of scrimmage. And then he went lunging into the end zone to get them back within 2 touchdowns. Nearly a 5.5-minute drive to begin the half by Tulsa.
Yeah, this is a short yardage goal line play they were working on yesterday, and the idea is to give your athlete and your best player on your football team to run pass option. Made the right decision, and you saw the determination in the effort to stretch it past the orange line on the field.
Yeah, a line that they should paint. It's hard for everybody to see. 81-yard drive and 11 plays to begin the half for Tulsa.
Fall in love with melty cheese. Taco Bell's new Cheesy Beefy Melt. To get seasoned beef, cool sour cream, melty, and even more glorious melty cheese, think outside the bun.
Knocked Up on DVD.
I'm pregnant.
With a baby? It's hilarious in ways you have to see to believe.
Do we have sex tonight?
An instant classic.
We did some research. People like pregnant.
I was surprised because I feel the opposite.
Knocked Up. Own it Tuesday.
The sun burns at 11,000 degrees, especially when it's on your side of the cabin. But the Acura MDX monitors the sun and adjusts to keep you comfortable. If it knows where the sun is, imagine everything else it knows. Satellite-linked, fully automatic climate control. Only from Acura. Acura. Advance.
See your Acura dealer for attractive lease rates on 2008 Acura models for well-qualified customers.
Okay, guys, check this out. Ran the numbers. It looks like if you insure your car and your home with us, this is how much money we're going to save you.
That's what I'm talking about, baby! Yes! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! State Farm's got football fever. It's a good rate. You'll get it, too. To see how your car and home can save you money, call an agent or visit statefarm.com.
Gluttony starts now. We're like the Huns, you know? This is like all for the taking, all for the pillaging, but in a nice way.
You gotta think of me as your life coach. You know, for the fun parts.
This is my vacation, too. You know? Don't drag me down.
You're saucy, I like that. Picante.
Hey, buddy. Listen
Talk to him.
I can get you in upstairs. I know a guy.
You're watching Tailgate Week, presented by Kingsford.
And we've seen a number of delectable treats around H.A. Chapman Stadium. It's actually Skelly Field at H.A. Chapman Stadium. This used to be Skelly Stadium. And there was a major gift given by the H.A. Chapman family to help renovate the stadium, a process that will continue as soon as this season is over. DeMarco Murray, the kickoff return. Sidestep Drake, the kicker, and he will go. 81 yards, touchdown, Oklahoma.
Well, that's why they're 91st in kickoff coverage. When you can't kick it deep and you don't kick it high, it puts a lot of pressure when you're running from the 30-yard line. DeMarco Murray's got full head of steam catching the ball in between the 20 and the 30. And you can see where his instincts has a running back take over. And right there, one-on-one shot. Young kicker doesn't have a chance, and speed takes over.
First kickoff return for a touchdown this season for Oklahoma. Joaquin Iglesias brought one back last year in November against Baylor. There's Hartley's kick up and good. They can hurt you in so many ways. It's going to be a while before their offense gets on the field here in the second half. And that's demoralizing for Tulsa. They got within 2 scores, a little bit of hope on that sideline, and that hope perhaps very quickly extinguished by DeMarco Murray, redshirt freshman out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, and the vision and the natural running ability, and that's why you love to have running backs if you can afford to. Oklahoma has the depth to be your kick returners. When you have speed like that and the vision, he gets in the open field. It's a done deal. And it's not like Todd Graham doesn't recognize the fact that they're 91st in the country. Again, I was here Wednesday at practice. 45 minutes were spent on special teams, and 40 of those were spent on kickoff coverage. And it's just tough because they're trying to do it with their starters, and those starters get beat down as the game wears on. That's where you have the lack of depth that Tulsa has to deal with, that Oklahoma doesn't have to deal with.
Special teams have been a great weapon under Stoops. He saw DeMarco Murray in high school at Las Vegas when he was out there recruiting Ryan Reynolds. Murray was in the gym dunking basketballs acrobatically, and as Stoops was walking through the gym, he saw that, and he told the coach, when it's the right time, we'll be back to recruit this young man too. Charles Davis got knocked down after a 22-yard return. Let's go back before the game. Tonight's Coach Talk presented by Liberty Mutual.
Heart of a champion tonight. Play every play. Make sure you don't miss your play. Heart of a champion. Hold the rope. Let's go take it. This is our time. We're meant to be here. Turn it loose and let it out. Let's get it done. Grab a hand.
One guy that's turning it loose is his quarterback, and Paul Smith. A lot of NFL scouts are walking around here, and they're very impressed with his toughness, his ability to make a lot of good throws, different throws. Away from his body, setting up, any type of throw you want him to make, he's made it tonight in the spotlight.
Charles Clay stopped immediately by Alonzo Dotson, the nephew of the former Packers standout Santana Dotson. Smith, the son of a coach, bounced around at a couple different high schools here in Oklahoma as his dad switched coaching jobs. Sophomore year at Deer Creek in Edmond, Oklahoma. Junior and senior year, just about 15 minutes from here at Owasso. His dad is now at Bartlesville, about 45 minutes north of here. And Ron Smith is here tonight. A lot of the high schools in this area moved their games to Thursday night.
Offense. 5 yards, second down.
So it would not compete with this game. I realize they'd lose a lot of fans to OU and TU. 7 penalties now against Tulsa. So this stadium is going to be renovated. They're going to spend about $24 million. Actually reduce the capacity from near 40,000 to about 30,000 that they have at the bottom of Conference USA in home attendance, but I think it's big enough. It'll be comparable to the stadiums in Houston and in SMU. Nice strike thrown by Smith on the money to Trey Johnson. And another big gainer, 37 yards and a first down for the Golden Hurricanes.
There's the patience of Paul Smith and trusting his lineman. I can't say enough for the young offensive lineman of Tulsa, stepping up to the challenge and for the most part doing a good job, because this route takes a long time to develop, and Johnson's coming all the way across, and boy, Paul Smith again impressing with his arm strength.
He was not highly recruited. He thought he was going to get an offer from Penn State. He had been to their camps, was disappointed when it did not come. When Steve Kragthorpe got the job here, one of the first things he did was recruit Paul Smith. So he stayed close to home and helped Kragthorpe turn it around. Before Steve Kragthorpe got here, they were coming off back-to-back 1-10 seasons. Under Kragthorpe, 3 bowl games in the last 4 years and the Conference USA Championship. Charles Clay, another reception. Austin English and Marcus Walker, the tackle. A couple of yards short of the first down at the 38-yard line of Oklahoma.
That's what I'd do if I was Charles Clay. I'd get a tighter fitting jersey, because there's been a number of times tonight, Sean, I'm being very serious about this, where they're catching Charles Clay by the jersey when he's past them. Or get some tape it onto them pads, tape it onto your gut.
Tulsa with a big edge here in the second half. Tulsa with the edge in total yardage. Of course, that's skewed by the kickoff return for a touchdown that took Oklahoma off the field. Quick throw to Dion Tolliver, junior from Riverside, California, has a first down. Tackled by Curtis Lofton. 7 yards on the gain. First catch tonight for Tolliver, his 6th of the year.
I love the fight in this Tulsa football team, and it's a reflection of Todd Graham and the coaching staff when you come out and you keep fighting and fighting and fighting, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
And a fake option look, and Smith almost threw an interception. DJ Wolf saw that one coming. He ran right in front of Dion Tolliver but couldn't hang on.
That time Paul was reading corner, and DJ Wolf brought over by the play action fake. On the option, DJ Wolf playing center field has a great break on the ball. Now turn a good play into great play, DJ. Go up with your hands, turn the other way, not be a body catcher, and you still might be running, young man.
For a running back, also put cornerback, now a safety. Adams could not break out of that tackle of Ryan Reynolds. You can see with his performance tonight why Brent Venables says they are a much better defense when Ryan Reynolds is in there.
Again, Reynolds been outstanding. Their front four, I've always said this, Sean, if the front four is as good as Oklahoma's, the linebackers are going to shine. Lofton had 10 tackles heading into the half, and Reynolds isn't too far behind.
Out of the gun on 3rd down and 7 from the 28-yard line. Getting down towards 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. And some confusion, it seems. They try to get this play lined up. Oklahoma leads 42-21. Smith throws deep. This one is intercepted. And he home stepped in front of the receiver. Second pick thrown tonight by Paul Smith. And the first interception of the year for the junior from Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, Paul Smith is going down and talking to Johnson, his young freshman wide receiver. It's a skinny post versus cover 2. And you'll see Holmes get his depth as a safety. Right here, he's getting depth, which allows him to make a break on the ball, and he stopped his route. Paul Johnson is going to throw to the hash marks. He's got to run to the hash mark and cut off the safety. Holmes said, no, that's my ball. I take it away.
Big-time playmakers meet as Vince Young and the Titans take on Reggie Bush and the Saints. ESPN Monday Night Football, Titans-Saints at 8:30.
The sun burns at 11,000 degrees, especially when it's on your side of the cabin. But the Acura MDX monitors the sun and adjusts to keep you comfortable. If it knows where the sun is, Imagine everything else it knows. Satellite-linked, fully automatic climate control. Only from Acura. Acura. Advance.
See your Acura dealer for attractive lease rates on 2008 Acura models for well-qualified customers.
Luann has a knife!
Put the knife down. Luann, what are you doing?
I'm having lunch from KFC. It's real food, which requires a fork and a knife.
It's KFC, people.
Have a real meal for lunch. Come to KFC for any of our new $2.99 deals. World-famous chicken, choice of a side, and a flaky biscuit. Grab lunch for just $2.99. KFC chicken now has the same great taste with 0 grams of trans fat per serving.
Great gear, great deals, and the great outdoors all meet up at Bass Pro Shop.
Oklahoma with its first offensive snap of the second half comes with 5:50 left in the third quarter. They lead 42-21. They have scored in this half on the kickoff return for a touchdown by DeMarco Murray. Allen Peck back. Bradford on a loss as he smothered back near the 6-yard line. Patrick ran for 130 and a couple of scores in the first half. Bowden Hopkins drove him back on that play.
This is where Oklahoma can obviously seize control of this football game. Alan Patrick's been impressive, Sean. Just getting the full-time duty, and you see he relishes that. And another guy, with the depth that they have, the more carries he gets, the stronger he gets because he knows he has his buddies that won't miss a beat when they come in the ball game.
Bradford. Nice quick throw. Boy, Iglesias is impressive the more you watch him play. Charles Davis made the tackle. 6th catch for Iglesias for an even 100 yards receiving. And 123 yards receiving last week against Utah State.
See the Tulsa defenders, especially the cornerback position. Charles Davis got hurt a little bit in the first half when he bit up on that hitch, but it was a hitch and go. That time was just a hitch. Charles Davis was just a tad late on breaking on that football.
This is the third 100-yard receiving game in 4 games now for Iglesias. He also went over 100 in the opener against North Texas. Patrick out to the 29-yard line. Alan Karatapian and Nelson Coleman made the tackle. 9-yard run for Patrick. I think the scary thing for future Oklahoma opponents, the only 2 seniors on the offense who see considerable time are the tight end Joe John Finley, and they do have Gresham and Brody Eldridge who share time with him, and Alan Patrick. And of course they have Murray and Chris Brown. He'll be back next year. They'll miss those 2 guys, but they have plenty at their position. 10 more for Patrick before he was chopped down by Kenny D. Sims.
Well, it's all about getting a hat on a hat, and when you have a guy that has this burst right there through the hole and not getting touched until he gets to the safety, dominance is starting to take over. And it's really, Tulsa's trying, and her effort is great. It's just when you get a hat on a hat in those big bodies, you can't do anything about it. They're too big and they stick on you. You're done.
And Sam Bradford again efficiently leading this offense. There's the swing pass. And it's Iglesias again. There's a flag down on the play as Iglesias went out of bounds very near the first down marker at midfield.
Get Malcolm Kelly for holding here.
4 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
They've actually done a good job against Kelly. We look at our TiVo combo to watch. Kelly has just 2 of those 16 receptions for the year tonight, 2 for 27. Iglesias has been the main target tonight with 6 catches, and that one comes back because of the penalty. And Malcolm Kelly is a stud, and he was not even first team all Big 12 at the wide receiver position. Guy got a lot of the attention. Darius Bowman on the suite of Texas, the other first-team all-conference preseason selection. Chris Brown weaves his way out to the 42. 11 yards on the run for Brown.
you and I had a chance to watch a little bit of a highlight film of Malcolm Kelly yesterday when we were breaking down the film. And the thing about him is his size. And when he catches the ball, he has that gift of that extra gear. A lot of time, big receivers at 220 pounds, they don't have that extra gear. Malcolm Kelly will catch and finish. And it's tough to bring down a 220-pound guy that's running a 4.4. So the ability with the run after catch, he's still just a tad raw in his running of his routes, but he's getting better and better, and he's going to just be a tremendous football player. And whatever he does as far as his future, it's only going to be bright. And his ability is amazing. I like the fact, too, he catches the ball with his hands and not a body snatcher.
Nolan Hopkins helped off. Well, that comes from his dad. Malcolm Kelly says when he played football as a kid, played catch with his dad, Moses. You see Michael Crabtree, the only receiver in the country with more touchdowns. Moses used to throw him the ball underhanded because Malcolm Kelly used to catch the ball up against his body.
Yep.
And he said, throw it to me overhand like you do to everybody else. He said, well, as soon as you learn how to catch the ball in your hands, I'll throw it to you overhand. So Dad started to throw it overhand. Kelly became a great hands catcher. He has enormous hands, the biggest on the team. They thought Brian Simmons, the offensive lineman with over 300 pounds, might have bigger hands, but they compared hand size. Kelly's hands bigger. They asked him if his hands had been measured. He said no, but they're huge. He said it really helps me surround the ball when they throw it to me.
Well, yeah, and his dad knows what he's doing. Another coaching point, and I did this with my kids, and I do it with my Little League kids. You want a kid to catch a ball with his hands, throw the ball at his head, because the hands got to come up. So I started throwing balls at the kid's head. Their hands got to come up or they get shots to the head.
Marco Murray, the last carry. Now it's 3rd down and 6. Destin single coverage on Kelly, bottom of your screen. Bradford looks there and finds him. That is not a matchup that Tulsa wants, but that's the way they lined up. And Oklahoma converts on 3rd down and 6. And give Bradford credit. This young man is well prepared. He saw the matchup they wanted out there, and that was no contest, 21 yards.
Yeah, you see it right there, defeating the bump and run. Destin doesn't have the strength to keep up with Kelly, but the other thing is Destin could have helped himself by position alone. If you're going to be playing man, rule number 1, take away the inside, make him work the short side of the field to make the long throw. Don't give him the slant. Easy pitch and catch.
Kelly's on pace to break Mark Clayton's receiving records. Chris Brown almost took it all the way. Stumbled down just inside the 20, a gain of 16. And the Sooners picking it up in big chunks here on their first possession of the second half. They're down to 2:19 left in the 3rd quarter. Oklahoma leading 42-21, and Chris Chamberlain, yet another Tulsa defender, down on the field.
Chris Chamberlain is another guy they can't afford to lose. They lost Rory Roberts, their best cover corner, early in the ball game, had some nicks. Chris Chamberlain's playing his heart out tonight, giving everything he has, but it gets demoralizing if you're a defender and they're approaching 300 yards rushing.
Chamberlain, a senior from Bethany, Oklahoma. Of course, Oklahoma trying to make a strong case. Here at the top of the rankings, ranked number 4 this week. LSU's number 2. Many believe they should be number 1. They have a big home game tomorrow against South Carolina. The Gamecocks are 3-0, led by the defense, allowing under 10 points per game, 8th best in the country. Those two teams don't play very often. They've met only 5 times since South Carolina joined the SEC in 1992.
You almost get the feeling that when LSU and USC and Oklahoma play in Florida, they're all making a vote, and it's like, who do you watch last to say who's the best team in the country? Because I'm watching this Oklahoma football team tonight, and I can't imagine much teams better until I watch LSU play, Florida play, or SC play. By the way, West Virginia knocking on the door.
Marco Murray, the carry, knocked back. And Steve Spurrier says he voted LSU number 1 in the poll this week as he gets ready to face them in Baton Rouge. 10th play of this possession for Sam Bradford. I just don't know where the weakness is on this Oklahoma team. You know, position group by position group, they're great players everywhere.
Well, you'd like to say the kicking position, but the field goal kicker only missed 1 field goal last year.
Yeah, they're really good everywhere. Manuel Johnson the catch. Nice tackle by John Destin at the 17-yard line. Here's Joe.
Sean, talking about LSU, you know, Les Miles said this week during his weekly press conference, if you root for LSU, don't give out any injury information that does not come out of my mouth. I'm sorry, Les, but Matt Flynn is going to start tomorrow at quarterback despite an ankle injury, and Early Doucette, the wide receiver, is going to miss the game with a lower abdomen injury. Sorry, Les.
The point, I guess, was if you cover the team, you know, you kind of have an obligation to the team you cover not to reveal injury information. I'm not sure Les exactly understands how the media work. Corner of the end zone. Caught. Was he inbound? No. Malcolm Kelly across the sideline. With Charles Davis in coverage.
But what a throw. I mean, you're talking about you can only put it one place in between the corner and the safety. Well, he threw it. And again, that comes from throwing with anticipation, trusting where your receiver is going to be before he comes out of the break. And that's on Malcolm. Malcolm's too good of an athlete and a receiver not to have the field awareness to have the Tootsies in play.
Just barely on that sideline.
Got to know it.
And Garrett Hartley, again another strength of this team, one of the 3 finalists for the Lou Groves Award as the best kicker in the country last year. He's made 14 field goals in a row, and right on cue, why he left. He was 3 for 3 this year, made his last 11 last year. Wide left from 34 yards, it's still 42-21 OU.
Coolest thing about Sam Adams is that they put out beers according to seasons.
We have Samuel Adams Winter Lager, White Ale, Summer Ale.
In anticipation of the game last night, a lot of the students here at Tulsa slept in the stadium. Coach Graham came to speak to them. They had a good time last night. More than 500 of them. It might not seem like a heck of a lot, but they only have 2,700 undergraduate students here and about 4,000 total. It is the smallest school in Division 1A. Trey Johnson couldn't catch the pass. And it is ruled incomplete. He chased after, thinking it might be a lateral. Matter of fact, in the last 2 seasons, Todd Graham has been the head coach at each of the 2 smallest Division 1A schools. He was at Rice last year with 3,100 or so, and now here at Tulsa. He really believes they have a lot of what they need here to be, as he says, the next Louisville, the next Boise State, mid-major school. At least Louisville was for a while, now in the Big East.
He has a commitment by the administration, and that's what any football coach wants. If you want a commitment, you're willing to spend the dollars. That'll certainly help you and give you a shot to compete. That's all you want as a head football coach, is you want to have the finances and the facilities to be able to compete.
A shot that Alonzo Dodson delivered. That's the view from the new Case Athletic Complex, a $10 million football building to our left in the end zone. That opened this year. They used to have rickety facilities in a gymnasium across the street. Now they have very nice offices and a Hall of Fame in the Case Athletic Complex. End of 3 quarters in Tulsa. Paul Smith and the Golden Hurricane down by 21. Trying to go to 4-0 against 2-0 Tulsa. Hurricane down by 21. And their hopes dim as Nick Harris has the interception. Off the ricochet. 3rd interception of the night for Oklahoma. Their 11th takeaway in 4 games. It was intended for Ted Curtis, a tight end.
That's the 2nd bad decision that Paul Smith has made tonight. Oklahoma capitalizes, trying to force something that's not there. He's got great legs. He could run the football. Your team needs yards. Go ahead and trust your feet instead of making a difficult throw across your body.
We're going to review to see if Harris caught it. It will be his 2nd interception of the year. He returned one, 24 yards for a touchdown in the opener against North Texas. On their way to 79 points. Oklahoma has scored at least 51 in each of their first 3 games. And let's take a look and see if, in fact, Nick Harris did catch it before it hurt. I'm not sure. That doesn't look like possession. Looks like it's wobbling around.
You can see his right hand was laid on the ball. Good job by Nick of selling it. And it's a credit to Oklahoma's defense. They started out a little bit slow, but when you get interceptions, one that probably will be called back, but Reynolds had one earlier on a deflection. That tells me you have great pursuit by your back seven running to the football. And Nick Harris, again, Sean, it just amazes me the talent level at every position that Oklahoma has and the depth that they have. Makes it tough for anybody that's an opponent of theirs.
Take another look at it from another angle. That looked to be the best angle you could hope to see. The first one we saw, with Harris looking right at the camera, essentially. And it looked like he did not have possession of the ball as it wobbled around on the ground a bit. Here's that angle again. Yeah, that ball's not in his possession. He's still trying to get it in. It's on the ground.
You see his right hand was late coming over to secure the football.
Curtis Lofton helped tip it.
He's a player now. Curtis Lofton is a player, replacing a pretty darn good player when Rufus Alexander is with the Minnesota Vikings now, recovering from a knee injury. But I know
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The ball hit the ground, and it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down, 7 yards on the 23-yard line.
Well, that's how replay should work. Well done by all involved in the booth upstairs and on the field. Punt safe, says Bob Stoops. And a much-needed break for Todd Graham and Tulsa. Although they're going to have to punt on 4th down with Michael Such out there to punt. He was at Nebraska last year as a non-recruited walk-on. Did not play in a game, then transferred here to Tulsa this year.
Yeah, they're looking over here. They do have a fake in. But when Stoops is aware of that, his radar's up. He's been around a long time, calling the punt safe, as you pointed out, Sean.
Such won a derby in the preseason from Paul Jurado to be their punter. Reggie Smith caught it at the 35. Looking for some running room. We talked to him the other day, said the key to being return man, patience and vision. And he demonstrated both on that run back. Waited patiently for some kind of alley to reveal itself, and he brought it back 27 yards after a 42-yard punt. Chris Chamberlain made the tackle. Yesterday, in anticipation of this game, Dennis Bird was here with the team, part of their day before the game walk the length of the field holding hands. Dennis Bird, of course, an All-American player here for Tulsa in their Hall of Fame. Great lineman in the late 80s, number 7 all-time here in tackles. Unfortunately, best known for his time with the New York Jets when he suffered a paralyzing spinal cord injury in 1992, an injury that he thought he would not recover from. And as you can see, he is walking and functioning very well. Functioning very well is Iglesias again, breaking tackles to score. 40 yards for the touchdown. Second for Iglesias tonight. His 8th catch for 142 yards receiving. We're talking about Malcolm Kelly being the best receiver in the country. Maybe he's not even the best receiver on his own team.
Well, Iglesias came into the game as the leading receiver, but 0 touchdowns. And again, the power and the skill of the receivers for Oklahoma and their run after catch just continues to amaze. And Iglesias wants to get on the action with Malcolm as far as touchdown catches. He's catching up.
Faber, Dustin, Germany couldn't get him down. The try for point fails. That's been one blemish for Oklahoma. Charles Davis got in there to block it. They've now missed 3 PATs already this year. So we showed you Dennis Berg. We're happy to tell you he's here tonight as the honorary captain, and he is standing by with Joe Shad.
And Dennis, you had a chance to talk to the entire team yesterday. What message do you want these young men to hear from you?
Well, I think the most important thing was for these young men to understand that who they are, what their place is in the tapestry of time that is the University of Tulsa. This is our 999th game. For 107 years, we've been playing football. 77 of those have been on this field. And tonight, the guys like myself that come back from 20, 25 years ago, we link ourselves forever with these young men. We were talking to them about the importance of understanding that they make a part of history every time they step onto this football field.
How do you try to relay your amazing personal journey to the kids? How can that help them?
Well, I think a great deal of it is just obvious. You know, they can see that there's a man that has a struggle, but he has an undying will and a will that just doesn't want to quit. And I think a great deal of that is just seen. But then whenever I get to verbalize the things that are important to me and the things that they need to know as young men, time, maturity has a lot to do for what a man has to say. And I thank the Lord that I've had the opportunity to spend some time with these young men and share with them some of the lessons I've learned.
Dennis, if you had a chance to talk to the injured Buffalo Bills player Kevin Everett, what would you let him know?
Well, I want Kevin to know for sure that there are millions of people in this country that love him, adore him, and that are praying for him every day. And I want to tell him, Kevin, I can't wait to see you on your feet. I can't wait to see your recovery. God bless you, and we're praying for you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Wow, so eloquently stated, and I think it is Dennis Bird's amazing recovery that has given a lot of people like Kevin Everett hope, and obviously the advances in medicine as well. People like Nick Bonacani and what he's done with the Miami Project deserve an awful lot of credit. But I think Kevin Bird was one of the few success stories for a devastating spinal injury. To see where he is now, when it first happened to Kevin Everett, it looked like he might die. And now they're talking about all the things he's going to be able to do, perhaps as close to normal a life as he could have ever hoped to have had, given what happened to him.
Well, credit to the Buffalo Bills staff, and those doctors worked on me when I had my neck injury and their whole training staff. But, you know, Kevin Everett can look not only to Dennis Bird, who's a fine example, but also to Adam Telefero, the cornerback, young kid at Penn State that got hurt in Ohio Stadium. Reggie Brown, the defensive player, the linebacker for the Detroit Lions that got injured and thought to be paralyzed but was able to walk again. So there are success stories. And to me, the news about Kevin Everett being able to walk, Sean, was so encouraging. I had a little bout of paralysis myself twice on the football field, which ultimately ended my career. So I know the scary feeling that Kevin and his family went through. And I'm just glad that he's able to walk. And what better spokesman than Dennis Bird, also a player that I played with, and Mike Utley. Mike hasn't regained the use of his legs, but Mike lives a full life, and it's a tremendous inspiration to a lot of people out there.
He has a great attitude when you see him interviewed. Unfortunately, when circumstances like these arise, I noticed your occasional paralysis kicked in last night at dinner when the check came. And all of a sudden, you had a little tough time moving toward the bill.
Well, you got all the money, kid.
A lot of fakes by Smith. And by the time he finished them, they were right on his heels. 5th sack for Oklahoma. Credit Steve Coleman with that one. Austin English also in the neighborhood.
It's a miscommunication. I think Paul Smith went the wrong way. When I see 5 big hogs go to the right, Paul goes to the left, and there's no help over there. Paul might have got a little bit confused. Anyway, whoever was wrong, either the whole offensive line or Paul, miscommunication usually leads to a defensive play by English.
And Dennis Bird talked to these players about understanding their place in the history of Tulsa football, and he surely knew his facts. This is the 999th game all time. There haven't been a lot of big seasons in recent years, but this is a program with a rich tradition. It's featured some great players, some players who went on to become very successful coaches. Good spin move by Jamad Williams. Tulsa was the first school to play in 5 straight New Year's Day bowl games. They did that back in the 40s. They have 3 former players who were enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame: Bob St. Clair, the late great Jim Finks, and Steve Largent. 2 of their players finished as runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. Howard Twilley was the leader in the nation in receiving in 1965, played it for the Dolphins, and Jerry Rome, the fine quarterback the year before.
Also a famous coach by the name of Francis Schmidt, who coached at Ohio State, who coined the phrase, "they put their pants on one leg at a time like you do." and what came the tradition of the gold pants in the Ohio State-Michigan game.
Reggie Smith back for the punt. 4 former Tulsa players are head coaches in the NFL, including Lovie Smith right now. Ray Rhodes, Sam Rutigliano, Tommy Hudspeth all played here at Tulsa. They do have a football tradition. 36-yard punt, 25-yard return. Isn't it great to see Dennis Byrd looking so well here tonight? By a Blue Ribbon panel of former coaches, players, and media members will reveal number 24 tomorrow during the 3:30 games on ABC and ESPN2, counting all the way down to number 1 over the course of the season. Ernie Nevers, the first, number 25 in our top 25 countdown. Chris Brown runs for nearly 10 down inside the 20. I wish the voting hadn't already been done by that Blue Ribbon panel, because I won a lobby for my friend and partner, Chris Spielman, Ohio State star linebacker, 2-time All-American in the late 80s, winner of the 1987 Lombardi Award, 283 solo tackles in his career. Who can forget the 29 tackles against Michigan in 1986? Remains the most tackles in the lengthy history of that rivalry.
Yeah, that means they had the ball too much. That's all that means.
Did you guys lose that game?
Lost on a field goal kicker, missed the field goal.
Oh.
Is that what you mean? Not that I think about it much.
No, not that you have any disdain for field goal kickers. And very
scary,
very handsome photo. Yeah.
You like the mustache?
We're still in prime time. I won't use the phrase that comes to mind to describe the stash. But it was, as Bill Rafter would say, effective.
Yeah, it was.
Of all the things you accomplished, seriously, what were you most proud of?
Well, I think the win at Michigan when Coach Bruce was fired. He was fired the week before the Michigan game, and our team went up there and weren't going to a bowl game. Everything was kind of lost, disappointing season. Yet were we able to pull it together for Coach Bruce to send him out a winner.
Ooh, Brown slid down to avoid the contact and got belted by John Destin. Well, he went into the baseball slide, and he did not get out of the way of that hit. Looked like he took a shot right in the head.
Yeah, I don't know if he hit his head on the way down and hit the turf, and he lost his footing, so he became vulnerable and wasn't able to deliver a blow and protect himself. Once he slipped, the defender came and whacked him good, and I don't know if his head bounced off the turf or not.
Bob Stoops going to come out to check on his sophomore running back. Okay, slowing down. That looked like his feet started to go out from under him a little bit. He just got hit right in the head. This will give you a greater sense of the impact at full speed. John Destin the hit, 10 carries, 65 yards for Brown, as they have now rushed 500 yards for the game, which if it ended right here would bring their average down. And their scoring
That's something,
average
isn't it?
Yeah, they still have 13 points to go to get to their scoring average. On the field turf here, my goodness. It also looked like at the beginning of that play, he got grabbed by the face mask. There was no flag for that.
He got a little bit of that horse collar by Nelson Coleman, came and turned his head, and Destin's just trying to deliver the blow and leading with his shoulder. Didn't lead with his head, but he caught him as he was slipping. Once you lose your momentum, then you become vulnerable to the big hit, which was delivered.
So DeMarco Murray, the tailback, Ian Pleasant, the fullback. Murray follows Pleasant, and that wasn't close. No one got near DeMarco Murray. He scores. It's 54-21 with just under 10 minutes to go.
Well, and we talked about Geshem and his pass blocking ability, but he's becoming a total package football player at 6'5", 250. Took Caratapian and just walled him inside, drove him off the ball, had the hands inside, wanted a holding call, but didn't get it. He's a good-looking football player, too, and I can see why Coach Wilson talks about his tight ends.
Yeah. Murray, 2 rushing touchdowns and a kickoff return for a score. And Hartley makes this extra point. 55-21. Let's get a preview of Monday Night Football. Here's Mike Tirico.
Vince Young is dynamic and exciting and has brought the energy back to the Titans franchise. Drew Brees had a dream season in 2006, but now he and Reggie Bush try to find the Saints' magic as they return home. Saints-Titans, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
First national television game for Vince Young as an NFL player. And boy, the Saints, they were a trendy pick to be a Super Bowl team. It's only 0-2. There's a long way to go, but they have had a disappointing start.
Well, you talked about it, and Coach Davey was talking about it the whole second quarter, about if you want to be able to be an effective football player, especially or football team in the NFL, you got to be able to run the ball. And Deuce McAllister is only averaging about 48 yards per game, where he's a guy that needs to get his touches and carries. Then you have to get Reggie Bush involved. If Reggie Bush isn't involved, you neutralize Deuce McAllister, you become one-dimensional, then it's easy to play defense in the NFL.
Yeah, and other teams are doing a better job now of taking Reggie Bush away in the passing game. And they're still a fun team to watch. Be a great atmosphere down there. Monday Night Football, the Titans and the Saints.
Vince Young is a fun player to watch, and really just a special athlete playing the quarterback position with his ability to run. Certainly has the ability to go for 1,000 yards as a quarterback.
Charles Davis brings back the Hartley kickoff. And not very far to the 21. When we spoke with Bob Stoops the other day, he talked about how good his kickoff team has been and how good his return game has been. We've seen that again tonight. They returned a kickoff for a touchdown. They've had a couple of long punt returns by Brown. He mentioned in the Miami game, Miami kicked off to his team 4 times, and Oklahoma's average starting field position after that was the 36-yard line, where Oklahoma kicked off 9 times to Miami, and Miami's average start was the 21-yard line.
What's the speed on their special teams, and they're all fresh. Unlike Tulsa, who has to play a lot of their starters on special teams because of the lack of depth, Oklahoma just brings in athlete after athlete, and they're all running down there trying to earn playing time by the way they play on special teams and cover kicks.
David Johnson, the backup quarterback in the game, junior from Portland, Oregon. They won't subject Smith to any more punishment. And DeMarcus Granger made the tackle. As you look at Johnson, 6'3", 217 pounds.
It's actually not a bad move by Coach Graham, getting ready for conference play. Just in case, knock on wood, something happens to Paul Smith, you have Johnson in there with some game time experience.
He's a capable backup. Played in 11 career games prior to tonight. Got into 5 ball games last year. And he follows the play as Tamad Williams carried, and DeMarcus Granger made the tackle again. Here's Joe Shad.
Sean, obviously the Oklahoma trainers have asked tailback Chris Brown a series of concussion-related questions. They're checking to see if he has a head injury, and thus far it seems that Chris Brown is responding in a manner that they are satisfied with.
Again, very cautious when dealing with concussions. It's kind of unusual, the Detroit Lions situation where John Kitna was diagnosed with a concussion last week, Sean, and usually if that's it with the precautions that the NFL is taking, he was allowed back into the ball game. And I trust the Detroit Lions doctors. I worked with a lot of those guys. They know what they're doing, and they all have, at least they told me face-to-face, Chris, my loyalty is to you, not to the Detroit Lions. So I'm sure that he must have passed a series of tests like Chris Brown is going through just to be able to get back into that ball game, and was the difference maker in their win over the Vikings.
Jordy Madison couldn't catch the pass from Johnson, who gets a pat on the helmet from Paul Smith. Whereas in recent years, there's been a lot more attention paid to concussions, the damage done, the cumulative effect, how it can alter your life later in life. Paul Jurado in the punt this time, and he booms one. Fletcher's punts weren't very good. And Jurado gets a chance. Didn't get very lucky on that bounce, but it's still all the way to the 31 for a 49-yard punt. There's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
going to be on Tulsa. They weren't set at the line of scrimmage.
Multiple players moving, didn't get set before the snap. On the offense, 5 yards, re-kick, 4th down.
You know, I would almost think if I'm Coach Stoops that I know how valuable Reggie Smith is to this ball club, that he has some probably young guys that would like an opportunity. Maybe you're thinking about trying to throw somebody else in there.
I think that would be a very good idea. You get your best player on defense hurt, at least according to the preseason Big 12 poll. Reggie Smith was the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year on defense. We asked him about that. He said, yeah, I was surprised. I really didn't feel like I'd done that much the last couple of years. He's now a junior from Edmond, Oklahoma, making his 27th career start tonight. He's done it with the punt return game, but you certainly wouldn't want to lose this guy to an injury. With under 8 minutes to go, pretty clear face mask. Every official on the field threw the flag, and if the fans had one, they all would have thrown one too. -3 on the return. Brennan Marion might have been guilty of the face mask after a 44-yard punt by Jurado.
So foul, face mask, number 4 on the kicking team, 15 yards from the end of the run, 1st down. Timeout.
With 7:50, new quarterback now for Oklahoma. Joey Halsley is into the game. Moses Madu gets the handoff. We're going a little deeper down the depth chart. They like Halsley, the junior from Huntington Beach, California. In fact, Kevin Wilson said, you know, the numbers are pretty similar. Halsley's played less, but he's been just about as productive and effective at his playing time as Sam Bradford. Matter of fact, in the opener against North Texas, Halsley off the bench went 4 out of 5 for 40 yards. He threw a 61-yard touchdown pass against Miami. They feel very good about him and the third quarterback, Keith Nickel.
Well, again, it's the depth. And I did Joey's spring game 2 years ago when he was competing with Rhett Bomar for the starting position. I was impressed with him then. And anytime you have depth at that position, it certainly helps. And I like the fact what Coach is doing right now is he's keeping the starting offensive line in the ball game. You see Bradford right there. Again, throwing people open in anticipation, throwing to spots as opposed to throwing to men, and trusting that his arm and his receivers will make the play for him.
Bradford went 16 out of 22 for 244, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Statistically, that's a bad night for him. Dropped his percentage a little bit. He was at 80% for the year. And it's a little bit under his average yards per game. He came in averaging 274. Halsley after the good fake has Joe John Finley, the tight end. Senior from Arlington, Texas. Tackled by Steve Craver, 24 yards, 1st down. And like Bradford, Halsley right on target.
You know, I like the fact, too, that Oklahoma's running their offense. It's not the Sooners' job to stop the Sooners. And he's going to throw the ball. And maybe they're going for their average. I don't know. But they're making a statement on national television tonight for the #1 position in college football.
Well, a touchdown, the extra point, they'll actually improve on that average. They're just about at their total offense number. Haven't allowed a sack tonight. Moses Madu remains the tailback. And takes the handoff from Halsley. He runs hard. Now he's at least their 4th running back, and he's productive. He rushed for 87 yards in that win against North Texas on just 9 attempts. That was an 11-yard gain here for Madu.
Again, and he's productive. 1 is because he's a talented football player. 2, you still have that massive offensive line in there clearing the way. And the Tulsa kids are giving it their all. They're playing their hearts out. It's just they don't have anything left in the tank, Sean, and they don't have the depth that Oklahoma has. They're playing at a different speed, Sooners.
Madu. That was easy. Touchdown, Oklahoma. They're right on their average and about to surpass it. If Harley kicks the extra point, it'll be 62. My goodness, they scored at least 51 in every game. Bradford's one of those guys who's so good at everything. Scratch golfer. They told us he shot 63 on a local course this summer. He was an all-state basketball player, averaged about 18 points per game. Was being recruited in basketball as well.
Well, I like his release, and I gotta see that 63 or see that course. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
He did well in the windmill hole and in the clown shows. And of course, if you're a Sooner fan, you're always looking ahead to the battle with Texas in Dallas. That's on October 6th. They have one game in between at Colorado next Saturday, a week from tomorrow. Well, lots of teams early making their claim for #1. I'll let you go first. How do you see it right now, the top five?
After watching the performance against Nebraska, I still have USC #1. After watching the film and preparing for this game this morning, I put Oklahoma #2, defending national champion, Florida 3, LSU 4, with West Virginia sneaking up there at 5. But I really do think, Sean, with those top 4, you can mix and match them any way you want, and you would be solid in however you have them rated.
Good. So you're not going to give me grief for my picks? Florida.
No, I don't.
The defending national champs. You know, it's kind of like boxing. Until someone takes the title away, especially when you're a team like Florida with a lot of talent back. I think they're better than last year at the most important position, quarterback. I'd rather have Tim Tebow than Chris Leak. And, you know, I've had Oklahoma. I thought coming back out of last year that USC was going to be the most talented team this year, and they might be. But this is almost overwhelming. You keep looking, you know, is there any weak link? Are you the weakest link? And you can't find the weakest link.
No,
they don't have one.
No, and it's all because they found their quarterback, and I think they're even a little bit surprised. They knew that Sam Bradford would grow into the position, but I think they're a little surprised of how quickly he's grown, and just going to get better and better as the season progresses.
Well, he's not a question mark or a concern anymore. He's a strength. I mean, and there's nothing fluky about the way he's playing quarterback. And, you know, a redshirt freshman can be enormously productive. All you do is go back to last year and what Colt McCoy did for Texas. Speaking of McCoy, the matchup approaches. And while Oklahoma was dominating the rivalry, Stoops against Mac Brown, but Texas with a couple of wins make those fans happier. Colorado next week. But, you know, when you look at that schedule, you know, they get past Texas. You know, who's going to beat them? I think at Texas Tech will be a tough game, but the Big 12 is not real strong. We saw Oklahoma State last Friday night, and they were most unimpressive. Iowa State certainly way down. A&M looked horrible last night against Miami.
We were talking about that in between our sets of curls and crunches today about how impressive Miami looked last night. Well, and that's a statement for Miami, but is that a statement for Oklahoma on how good they are? I mean, they dropped 51 on Miami, which the strength of the Hurricanes down there was their defense.
Johnson still a quarterback. Throws short. And an immediate tackle made. Reggie Smith is still on the field. Cameron Clemens made the catch. You're surprised Reggie's still in there. 5 minutes to go, under 5 minutes to go, and now he comes out of the game. I wonder if he hurt his hand a little bit, or if he's just upset that he's coming out.
He might be. He wants to finish the game, but I'm looking down there, and the whole starting defense is still in there, including Lofton and Reynolds. And the defense line doesn't matter. They play 9 anyway, so it's just throwing another big body in there. They play all their guys up front.
Well, these coaches know, with a system such as it is, you almost have to try to pile it on when you can. Certainly run the risk of injury. Johnson stripped of the ball. I believe he got it back. DeMarcus Granger's been big. He's big all the time, but he's been big in terms of his play here in the second half. They credited him with a sack, and that's the 6th of the night for OU.
And Stephen Coleman flushed Johnson up into the pocket for Granger with cleanup duty. But again, you look at the size and the guy's ability to get off the ball, and the key to Oklahoma's defensive line play, I'm going to say it again, when you can play 9 and bring speed and fresh bodies at you, you really don't have much of a chance.
Paul Jurado Jr. from Chino, California to punt. They don't have Reggie Smith back there this time. Dominic Franks, who watched it bounce out of bounds in Tulsa territory at the 47. 38-yard punt. College football on ESPN in prime time tomorrow night, 7:45 Eastern time. What a matchup. Georgia and Alabama. What a game John Parker Wilson had against Arkansas. Threw for 327, led them back 4 touchdowns. And they're fired up. They were fired up when they got Nick Saban there, and he's already delivering for them. 3-0 as they're in the top 25 for the first time since 2005.
SEC on the road, that's going to be a great ball game, excitable. A lot of popping in that game tomorrow night. Arkansas, Kentucky.
Who do you like in that Alabama-Georgia game?
I like Alabama. Alabama at home, and Coach Saban has not only the fans believing, but I think he has his kids believing. And again, you talk about getting production from offensive players. You got a young running back making plays for them. You got the quarterback making plays all over the place, receivers stepping up. The only question I have about Alabama, and Coach Saban will get this together, is their rushing defense. But again, when you have Darren McFadden and Felix Jones running at you, they can make anybody look a little bit susceptible on the defensive side of the ball.
He's Nickel, the quarterback, the third-string quarterback, part of that three-way competition for the starting job. Moses Mizzou carries. Nickel is a true freshman from Lowell, Michigan, appearing in his third game. How about those numbers in high school?
Well, that's a product of the spread offenses. And teams are throwing what you're seeing, like what Tulsa runs. You're seeing a lot of high school teams install those offenses, and guys are just throwing the ball. Pretty soon, it's going to come full circle, though. They'll be back to 2 backs and running the power game.
Carries for little or no gain, and here's Joe.
Sean, I'll be at that Georgia-Alabama game tomorrow, broadcasting for ESPN Radio. And it's an interesting matchup with 2 young quarterbacks. You know, the Georgia quarterback, Matthew Stafford, told me he didn't feel as prepared as he should have been in a loss to South Carolina a couple of weeks ago. So he's been staying up late every night this week with a Nick Saban DVD. It shows all the different multiple schemes and blitz packages that Alabama has installed.
That's what he's going to use. And Coach Saban, obviously, he can't get as detailed as he was with the NFL, but certainly he's a defensive-minded coach and has been very successful coaching at the collegiate level. And he'll get those kids playing hard, as he did at LSU, and he'll do that at Alabama. The defense will be stout by the time it's all said and done.
Mike Knoll, the punt. They have 2 punters. We've seen Michael Cohen tonight. He handles the longer ones, and when they're looking for a shorter kick, they put Mike Knoll in there. Junior college transfer out of Scottsdale Community College in Arizona. You know the nickname of Scottsdale Community College?
The Cactuses.
One of my favorite nicknames in sports. We learned this at the College World Series this year. They have a very good baseball program there, too. The Fighting Artichokes.
Interesting.
From Scottsdale Community College. You're a choke.
Is that a fruit or a vegetable?
I don't know.
It's fighting, whatever it is.
The Fighting Artichokes. When I mentioned it during the College World Series. I'd like a hat this time around, please. Bald guys like hats.
And one for his partner.
37-yard punt by Knoll. The former choke did not choke there. 26 seconds to go. Disappointing result for Tulsa, but they are still picked to have a good year in Conference USA in the preseason poll. Picked to finish second in the West Division behind Houston. And a very good team coached by Art Briles. Another one, I think, of the coaches around the country does a great job and doesn't get very much attention for it.
Yeah, there are a lot of them out there. And you look, they have UAB coming here next week, and chance to bounce back. They'll put this one to bed, learn from it, and get ready for conference play.
And the 4 straight convincing wins for Oklahoma. Flag thrown as David Johnson threw one deep. The flag thrown in the secondary. Lindy Holmes was back there in coverage.
Sideline warning on Tulsa.
Wow.
Better behave for the last 19 seconds down there, boys.
I see the get him back coach down there. Getting him back.
Yeah, he did a great job for 59 minutes and 41 seconds. A little lack of sideline discipline there at the end. Not a lot of room on the sideline here at Chapman Stadium. Looking forward to coming back next year when they have renovated this press box. Couple of suggestions for them. Air conditioning would be good, and a men's room. But not necessarily in that order. Oklahoma 4-0, and with an exclamation point. They rout their in-state rivals. Solid performance by Sam Bradford, and big stats just about everywhere you look for the Sooners tonight. They put 62 up, 62-21 the final. The contender coming up next. This has been a present.
They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Hey, you want to ride? It's okay. Sorry. We're sorry. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy.
Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Have a real meal for lunch. Come to KFC for any of our new $2.99 deals. World famous chicken, choice of a side, and a flaky biscuit. A real deal for lunch for just $2.99 at KFC.
The following FSN telecast is dedicated to the memory of 2003 first-team All-Big 12 Conference defensive back Darren Williams of the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Today, it's a star-studded event in Stillwater, and the heroes are more than ready for their close-ups. Wide open touchdown. Texas Tech QB Graham Harrell has thrown for over 1,000 yards in just 3 games. He leads the nation in completions per game and touchdowns with 14. OSU's sure-handed wide receiver Adarius Bowman is expected to haul in a treasure trove of postseason awards. This big play senior holds the conference single-game receiving record of 300 yards. Texas Tech has a standout receiver as well, the freshman sensation Michael Crabtree, who leads the nation in touchdown catches. Texas Tech battles Oklahoma State. The season premiere of the Big 12 Conference Battles are next on FSN.
From Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma, it's Big 12 football presented by Kyocera. And today, the undefeated Texas Tech Red Raiders match up with the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. On display today, 2 of the most talented receivers in the entire nation, the true freshman Michael Crabtree and senior Adarius Bowman. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers alongside Dave Lapham. Welcome once again to Stillwater, Oklahoma. The challenge for the Cowboys coming into the contest today, how do they slow down the nation's leader in total offense, Graham Harrell?
It's going to be difficult. You have to change it up, Joel. But, you know, it's hard to get this kid out of rhythm. I mean, he has seen just about every defense you're going to see, gets the ball out of his hand in about 2.5 seconds, and he knows where to throw the football. His numbers speak for themselves. He's got 75% completion percentage on the season. It's unbelievable. But Zach Robinson, this is only his second start. Here's the kid, though, that's a great athlete at the quarterback position. He can beat you with his throwing arm as well as his feet. He's a two-way go guy, but don't try to do too much. 3 turnovers last week against Troy. Can't do that today.
It'll be a hot one in Stillwater. Stay with us. We'll be right back for the conference opener, Oklahoma State and Texas Tech.
Full-size problem, mid-size solution. Full-size problem, mid-size solution. Full-size problem, mid-size solution. Introducing the mid-size Nissan Frontier Crew Cab Long Bed. holds 5, with an over 6-foot bed and the strongest standard engine in its class. Now save $3,000 with a value truck package and cash back. Nissan's family of Frontiers, leaps and bounds above the rest.
Hey, you work for Altel, right?
Yeah, Chad.
I've been making a lot of calls lately, and I want to change my plan, but my wireless company makes me extend my contract.
At Alto, you can change your plan at any time without extending your contract.
Thinking about leaving us?
Yeah.
I wouldn't if you ever want to see Fluffy again.
But that's not my dog.
Fluffy? Abort! Hey!
Abort.
Take the challenge and join America's largest network. Switch today risk-free.
It's finally here, the Chrysler Model Year-End Clearance, with no interest for 6 years on Chrysler Aspen and Town & Country, with more miles per gallon and more style per gallon. Now, for the first time ever on 2007 Chrysler Aspen and Town & Country, well-qualified buyers can get 0% financing for 72 months. That's no interest for 6 full years. Add that to the best warranty in the business, our exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty, and that's an offer no one else matches. Hurry, the Chrysler Model Year-End Clearance ends soon.
Have you been injured? Call Peterson Johnson for experienced auto injury lawyers and more money for you.
It's simple. The normal fee, our 25% fee. We charge less. You keep more. That means more money in your pocket. Experienced auto injury lawyers and more money for you. Call today.
Peterson Johnson, 877-96
This is the story of how the available power rear door, larger cargo area, versatile 3-row seating, 7 airbags, and everything else in the bigger redesigned Toyota Highlander brought Kim, Margot, Reese, and Sean together. Again. The all-new Highlander starts at a great price at your Valley Toyota dealers now.
Every game matters. The D-backs' magic number is 9.
It is going to be a hot one in Stillwater today, and welcome back to Boone's Pickens Stadium. Joel Marsland with Dave Lapham. Anytime these two teams get together, it is usually close, and especially in recent years. Last year in Lubbock, went down to the final play of the game, and Texas Tech held on as Oklahoma State makes their first appearance at home in conference play. In Lubbock last year, 30-24 Tech, but a couple of years ago here in Stillwater, 24-17 the Cowboys. Hopefully another good one. The kickoff is coming up next.
We went around swapping people's vehicles for 1 week. We didn't tell them we were from Ford. We told them it was market research.
I drive a Chevrolet Silverado, and I'm here to swap for a new ride. I like the console and I like the shifter in it. Okay. It's impressive to have that power in the Ford. As soon as you accelerate, it's pulling. Oh, yeah, I can get used to it real easy. Wish I hadn't bought my Chevrolet.
Now get 0% financing for 60 months or $3,500 cash back on Ford F-150 Super Crew. Go to drivefordnow.com, then visit your Arizona Ford dealer today.
Next week on the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Thursday, we take you back in time with Best Damns back to the 80s. Next week at 11.
This thing just won't leave. All I want to do is kick back and watch my DirecTV. I mean, I just got the best TV package in the universe for free.
Ask how to get our best TV package free for 4 months.
Back to the action at Dave & Buster's, where they're romping, they're stomping, they're winning with the 25th anniversary Eat and Play combo. Choose from 25 entrees and get a $10 game card for just $15.99. Score!
And Gleason recovers a fumble in the end zone. That's his first career touchdown.
Wait, is that a Dr. Pepper?
Oh, he's going to make the most of this one.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad
He's
you could
definitely
attend.
milking it. Oh, can you believe this? We might be here all night. Is he really going to do this? Look out.
Only Dr. Pepper has 23 flavors packed into one bold taste. For those who make the most of everything.
College Football Saturday on FSN, presented by Kia Serra, the new value frontier. Also brought to you in part by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, there's more to it. By Best Buy, for a complete home theater experience, get picture, content, sound, and installation at Best Buy. That's HD done right. And by Mitsubishi Motors. driven to thrill. Always a lot of fun for us to come to Stillwater, Oklahoma. And a lot of fun for you as well when it's presented in FSN HD, all brought to you by Hitachi. So it shapes up, I hope it's like 4 years ago here, 51-49. Oklahoma State down to the final play. Tech won the toss, they'll receive, but first let's head down to Jim Knox with the head coach of the Cowboys. Knoxy.
Coach, how in the world do you try to slow down this Texas Tech team, which averaging over 51 points per game?
Well, we've got a good plan. We're going to try to harass the quarterback as much as we can, move him around out of the pocket, and you've got to tackle him in space. They make all the yards after catch most of the time. So we have a good plan. I feel good about it.
Best of luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Now, I talked about how hot it's going to be. Well, 90, but down on the field a lot hotter than just 90. It's feeling, we talked to some of the OSU people from the athletic department, it'll top 100 degrees before it's all over today.
Easily over 100 degrees. The humidity is a little bit of a factor as well. And if you haven't done anything to take care of your fluid intake during the week, Joel, game time is too late. You have to have the right potassium level in your system that's diet related and fluid related all week long. Can't wait till game time, then you're in trouble.
L.A. Reid is going back deep, waiting for the kick as Fudge will kick it away. He's second in the Big 12 in punting, but he handles the kickoffs as well. Their placements, it's Jason Ricks. So here we go. The conference opener for Oklahoma State at home against Texas Tech. So Morris is back, along with L.A. Reid, or Ed Britton rather, is going to be back. Coming over to the near side, L.A. Reid from the 5. It's designed to go left. Does he have a lane? Yes, and look out past the 30. They collaborate to get him near the 31-32-yard line. It was Roderick Johnson down there to make this stop. A return of 27 yards for a team that was just awful last year. And kick returns, one of the worst in the nation, in fact. So the defensive end in on the stop. And our Kyocera starting lineup led by Graham Harrell, the nation's leader in total offense. He's hit 75% of his passes over the first 3 games this year. And you question who they faced, but still, 75%. Lofty numbers.
14 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. 7-to-1 ratio is mind-boggling.
Woods is going to be the single as they go to 4 wide receivers, and that's the way they always set up. Pressure on Harrell as it bounced him out of the pocket. Almost over the line and hit Amendola past the midfield stripe. So Danny Amendola, son of a high school coach out of the Woodlands, the Houston area, and what a catch by the senior.
And this is why Graham Harrell has only been sacked 2 times in 161 pass attempts now. He slides around, buys time in the pocket, knows where he is on the football field, and delivers a perfect strike. Sexton not quite able to stay in coverage on Amendola, and the play was created by Harrell, and he bought that extra time, and Amendola broke away from Sexton.
Michael Crabtree, bottom of your screen. Keep an eye on him. He leads the nation in receptions and also TD catches. Woods inside the 40, down to the 39 for a gain of about 3 for the junior from McKinney, Texas. Now the starting of the other 10, we already saw Graham Harrell. There's Michael Crabtree, and he has already displayed unusual skills for a kid who's right out of high school. When you look at the offensive line, there's only one starter back in those wide splits, and that's Luis Vasquez, the guard.
They're big on the right side, though. A couple of condos right here.
Trips over to the far side. Harrell on a deep out, and almost like a post corner route, wide of Lyle Leon, the true freshman from Abilene, and it was available.
Nice blitz pickup right there by Shannon Woods. Graham Harrell gives him a little pat on his helmet as he walks by. And Harrell had to get rid of that football a little bit sooner than he wanted to. Therefore, the inaccuracy. And that's what you have to do. You have to try to make him get the football out of his hand even quicker than he wants to. And he doesn't get it out quickly.
2 to each side this time as they had trips up top of the wide side of the field. Show the blitz from the linebacker. It will be a blitz on Harrell. Has to deliver it in a hurry, and he's got him. It's coming down the sideline for Crabtree. And he's got a 1st and goal all the way to the 9 for a team that's looking to make it 4 for 4. They have scored on each of their first possessions in their first 3 games.
And this is exactly what they wanted to do, is get off to a quick start and watch Crabtree run a little pivot route. Man, that's just fooling the defensive back, Van Sant. way too much. I mean, that's just a simple move on the pivot route. Crabtree establishes separation, but that's what he does so well. He has great instincts, a great feel. He finds separation. He works with space exceptionally well.
He's averaging better than 12 yards per, or 12 catches per game. He got 30 that time. Harrell, pocket holds up well. Too much time and wide of the intended target, Ed Britton, the sophomore from El Paso. As this defensive unit for the Oklahoma State Cowboys going to be challenged. Texas Tech averaging 51 points a game, as Jim Knox just mentioned, and talking to Mike Gundy. Collins, one of the best in the Big 12. Almost 9 tackles per game, but they gave up way too many yards last week in a loss at Troy.
They gave up 388 yards in the air last week, the most they've given up in 4 years here. And of course, Texas Tech, all they do is fill the air with footballs. Collins had 13 tackles last week down at Troy.
It'll be 2nd and goal to the 9 as they change the play at the line. Harrell, little one inside. Crabtree breaks the tackle. He's in. Touchdown, Texas Tech.
There it is, yards after catch. Just what Coach Gundy was talking about to start the broadcast. And that's what Texas Tech feeds off of. And you cannot let them journey after the reception. And Mickens did let it happen. Of course, this is a big, strong-bodied kid. Crabtree with his 9th touchdown reception of the season. 6'3", 210 pounds. Harrell with his 15th touchdown pass of the year and only 2 interceptions. Unreal.
Guy that's never missed an extra point, Trilica, at NCAA Stanford. And he puts it through. So it continues. It's 188 straight now for Trilica. Michael Crabtree, what a story. His 9th touchdown reception. The true freshman puts him up. 7-0, Texas Tech.
On the premiere episode of Sports Science, who are the highest flyers in sports? Is hang time a myth or reality? From elite NFL receivers to NBA skywalkers, the science of human flight is put under the microscope. Sports Science premieres September 30th on FSN.
The true power and beauty of HDTV is often hidden, unable to be seen. Only Hitachi original technologies unleash the true power and beauty of everything you watch on HDTV. Introducing the new Hitachi line of full HD 1080 televisions. Only from Hitachi.
You know, HD TV and TiVo HD just belong together. Like me and Duke. I mean, why get a premium HD TV and a generic DVR? My TiVo searches for HD by show, actor, team, and downloads thousands of movies right to my TV. And Duke, he gets me other things.
Oh, he's so cute.
Good boy, Duke.
New TiVo HD. Get it now at a price worth pausing for.
So what does this Jetta have that the Corolla doesn't?
Well, power windows, variable intermittent wipers, four-wheel disc brakes, 4 horsepower, electromechanical power steering and traction control.
When you get into a Volkswagen,
Does it have 6 airbags? Standard?
it gets into you.
Yeah. Now and only through October 1st, get a 2007 Jetta Wolfsburg Edition, extra equipped with alloy wheels and sunroof for zero due at signing.
Well, Michael Crabtree has done it again, and I mentioned his true freshman. He's actually a redshirt freshman, and I keep thinking back to last season when they told us he was lighting them up in practice. That was his true freshman year, but it was his redshirt year.
Yeah, he was on the look squad, the scout team against the #1 defense, and he was just beating them like a drum every single week. And they said, geez, we got something special here. And look at that, they have scored every single drive. This one today, 6 plays, 69 yards. 5 of the plays were for 66 yards in the air, 1 rush for 3 yards by Wood.
Bringing it back, it's going to be Parrish, Cox. They make it Tommy Devereaux. Across the 10, weaving his way. Good return. Out to the 29-yard line for the wide receiver. So that's where the Cowboys will have it for the first time today. Took a long time, though, for Crabtree and the Red Raiders. Minute 27 seconds into the game.
You talk about up-tempo. And look at the numbers for Crabtree. And here's the touchdown. He's got 9 touchdowns now. And this is only his 4th game. It's only a minute and a half into his 4th game. That is staggering.
Dontrell Savage, there's a big boost for the Cowboys, and he scoops his way across the 35, and I bring that up because he's had a pulled muscle in his groin. He's not played the last 2 games, and he was doubtful coming in even as late as Thursday.
Yeah, it was determined he was going to start today based on pre-game warm-ups. He's got a groin abdominal problem.
So that's a pick-me-up. They're down 7-0. They've got Savage, I mentioned all Big 12 performer last year, senior from Columbus, Georgia.
He hammered it for 8 yards right there. Get him right on schedule.
On the long count, Robinson after the play fake. And it'll be Dez Bryant. 3 grabs last week. That's his first on the first attempt. Now he is a true freshman. The young man from Lufkin, Texas.
Joel, we have the makings of a track meet here, and instead of a baton, we're talking about pigskin. Play action fake. Okay, you get 8 yards running the football. Now play action fake. Look at Dez Bryant get the separation, running a very simple route. I mean, coverage just not secure enough down the football field. A broken coverage right there. An easy pitch and catch for Robinson to get his confidence going.
And it's Savage again with a flag down on the near side where they may have lined up offside. It's a gain of a little more than 4. Colby Whitlock put him down out of Noble, Oklahoma.
Well, did Texas Tech line up offside? Hopefully Oklahoma State, from their offensive standpoint, had 6 men on the line of scrimmage. If they had 7, if they had 6, it's an illegal formation. They have to have 7 men up in the line of scrimmage. It looks like they're talking to Tech. Oklahoma State may not have had enough people up there.
Illegal formation on the offense, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Our referee today for the Big 12 is Greg Burks. It's been rare when Oklahoma State has been able to open at home in conference play.
Mike Gundy's going crazy on the line judge who made that call. He said, what are you looking at? We had our receiver up on the line of scrimmage. Come on, cut us a break. One of those pre-snap penalties that you hate as a head coach.
Bowman, bottom of your screen. He's the single to the wide side of the field. Out of the gun. Robinson a strike again. Dez Bryant gain of 13 to the 35, so they get it back. Close to the first down. Marcus Bunton on the coverage.